So Isaac Ansah, founder, African Fashion Canada Incorporated. Welcome to my program.
Thank you for having me, Jefferson, and welcome to Toronto, downtown district, where, you know, everything happens here for me.
I know, and no two ways about that. I understand this is exactly where all the fashionistas
Oh yes,
meet.
you got that right. I mean, the fashion district is in the downtown district, so if you want to be in that industry, you have to be here.
Your life is very interesting. Interesting for me because you actually left Ghana at a very tender age.
Yes.
Age 5 and 6.
Yes.
Do you remember anything at all about Ghana?
Very little, but I mean, when I was in Ghana, I mean, you know, I went to school for a short time, and
That would be daycare, right?
I
Nursery.
think class, you know, those class ones
Okay.
and that kind of stuff. So I don't really have a lot to say when it comes to that, but I just know that education in Ghana at that time when I was there it was fun. I mean, you know, we get to go outside and kick soccer, football around, that kind of stuff. We don't get to do that here. So,
Yeah. Which part of Ghana is this? Did you live?
I lived in Accra.
In Accra.
The
nation's
my entire
capital.
life. Yes, the nation's capital, and it was an awesome place to be.
But your name, Ansah, is it the Fanti Ansah or the Ashanti Ansah?
It's the Ashanti Ansah.
Okay.
So that comes from my dad's side of things. My dad is an Ashanti from Kumasi. You know, obviously everybody in Kumasi comes from a little smaller village than
Exactly.
that. I'm not exactly sure, but yes, Kumasi is where everything started.
I'm actually asking that because of of a great fashion designer I know, Kofi Ansah, who passed on a few years ago. And I wanted to know if you're related to him in a way, because he was as great as you are in the fashion industry.
It's funny you ask that because I get a lot of that question all the time. People always ask me if I have any kind of relations to the late Kofi Ansah, who obviously propelled African fashion, especially in Ghana and the whole continent, took it to another heights. May his soul rest in peace. I mean, I'm not related to him in any way, shape, or form, but we have a relation in terms of the industry that we both grew up in. You know, like he was a designer. I'm into fashion marketing, and I do fashion designing myself as well. So yes, I mean, we have some relations, but not blood related or anything like that.
When you left Ghana at that very tender age and you came to Canada, I'm sure there were a lot of things that were quite sort of, you're too young to have recognized a lot of things and all that. But I'm sure you're much aware of the cultural difference and the cultural intricacies that actually comes out with it. Your education here, tertiary education and all that. Did you study fashion in school?
I never studied fashion in school. I went to school, actually went to University of Windsor, and I studied business administration, management and marketing focus. Whilst I was in school, I was very intrigued by this fashion industry. But for some reason, I never really thought about going into the actual trade of being able to sew clothes and that kind of stuff, because I felt like everybody was doing it. They have to have fashion managers, fashion marketing specialist people out there. So that was the side of the fashion industry that I took onto. I did a few programs when I was in university. We had a program called the Windsor Sports Weekend, which was it was actually a very big 4-day event that invites all of the universities in Southern Ontario to meet in Windsor and celebrate our education and life and that kind of stuff. So over there, I mean, that's where everything started off.
That's where you picked up your talent.
Exactly. We used to plan, you know, the fashion shows and all that kind of stuff. So from that point onwards, it was all fashion for me.
Why? Was it because it's something you planned to do it, something you really wanted to do it, or because you realized that, well, it fetches a lot of money in that fashion industry?
You know what, to be honest with you, I never even thought about the money aspect of it.
Is the interest,
it was just
and the love, the passion
it was
for
just
it.
a passion. I realized that I enjoyed being in that environment. So I decided to, get into it. Funny thing you brought it up, because when I came out of school, I actually started my own fashion line called Blue Ice.
Wow.
It didn't do well initially because at that time I wasn't well educated or informed in that industry.
How old were you then?
This is when I just came out of school, probably 24 or something like that.
24 years.
I started my own fashion company, you know, did a whole China production, all that kind of stuff, and it didn't work out as planned to my satisfaction. Somebody else might look at it and say, hey, you're doing well, but to me, I was...
If you say it didn't work out well, it wasn't generating the money you needed it to generate, or the interest was not there for people to patronize the things you had?
I mean, the interest was there. It was generating money. I just thought I wasn't doing enough service to my clients. I was just selling them clothes, taking their money, and not really understanding the branding aspect of it, how to create the proper experience for them to feel like they're part of a culture. You know, like I wanted my brand to create a culture and people to feel like they have a belongingness to that. And I wasn't able to do that. So I felt like I was just in this industry to make money, and that kind of went against my personal ideologies of life. I felt like I needed to offer more. So what happened was I shut it down and started learning about the industry, and that's how I created a fashion company called the African Fashion Week Toronto, which is me and a founding partner, and now we have a bunch of other partners involved.
We'll talk more about that, but I'm just interested in how, you know, networking actually happens here in Canada.
Okay, what I can say about that is I feel like people that have the same passion or have the same interest in life find a way to connect somehow. We all go to a lot of networking events because, like I said, we have passion for what we do. We want to grow within it. So, you know, we go out there to put ourselves out there, to give ourselves a chance to grow in the field. So because of that, I mean, Chinedu is my guy. You know, I see him once in a while. We do some shows together, that kind of stuff. So networking in Toronto, it's a big thing.
So in Toronto or in Canada, if you want to get to where you want to get to, you need to network.
Yes, sir. I mean, there's no other way.
There's no shortcut to it.
Yes, there's no shortcut to success over here.
Yeah?
You got to do it the right way. You have to go out there, network, you know, and just talk to people.
Let's talk about the African Fashion Week, something that you actually initiated and how it's going so far. Listen, I've been on your side. I've seen the kind of work that you're doing. In August this year, you were going to have your African Fashion Week in Toronto.
Yes.
Listen, what is it that has actually pushed you to get this thing where it is right now? Because as we're speaking, it's one of North America's biggest gathering of fashion designers all over the world.
Obviously, that started off with me and the founding partner deciding that there's a void in our society here in Toronto. We've had the privilege of being a part of many other fashion weeks in Canada and outside Canada, and we realized that we never ever get to see fashion designers from the African continent or even living in abroad come in to showcase their products there. So that was a huge void that we feel that needs something has to happen, because we saw that there was a lot of talent out there, but there's no avenue for them to showcase that talent for the world to see. So that's how that came about, and we have love for Africa. We're Africans. We love Ghana. We love the whole continent. So, you know, that is our way of contributing to our continent by showcasing the designers in a very positive way. Because over here, there's a lot of negative stigma that comes to Africa.
Of course.
Okay, when we hear Africa, all they want to show us is
the wars,
some kids with some flies on their face, and that kind of stuff.
The hangout situation.
And because we're from the continent, we know better. So we had to do better. We had to show the people that, okay, we're going to propel and advocate Africa in a positive light through fashion for us.
So the whole idea and the concept is not just to focus on fashion designers in Toronto. You're opening the doors very wide for African fashion designers who are living in the United States or in Asia or in Africa to be here to sort of showcase what they've got, correct?
Of course. I mean, and that is why we always say to people that it's African-inspired programming. So we have a Pan-African approach. So that being said, it means that you don't have to be born in Ghana or Nigeria or the Congo
to showcase your Africanism.
As long as you showcase African-inspired designs in your fashion design, the platform is welcome for you. We want, the thing is, we don't want our fashion designers to only be promoted to Africans. It doesn't make sense.
Of course.
It doesn't make any sense. So
selling things to yourself.
Exactly. It's like making a product at home and only your family's buying it.
Of course not.
It doesn't mean you're in business. So our goal is to make sure that the world sees and hears about these designers and see their work. And that's why we have people that come from the Caribbean Bahamas and all those places to come here. We had an Indian designer last year from Pakistan.
Wow.
Right, who has some kind of African influence.
Wow.
And you know, that makes us feel accomplished.
And I see a lot of those kaftans also, you know, getting on the world stage.
Yes.
Where you see some African, you know, fabric with some Indian intricate designs and all that makes it very interesting. I think 2012 was a decisive year for you when you decided that, look, let me sit down and let me put this thing together and make it a world-class event and a world-class programming.
Exactly.
Last year, 2014, I understand, was a unique year for you. Who were some of the fashion designers that you actually showcased, especially from the African continent on the Fashion Week?
Last year we had, it's a pretty diverse platform. We had designers, one of our major designers came from Eritrea.
Eritrea?
Yeah,
wow.
Ethiopian, you know, that side of Africa. They came down here and showcased stuff.
They have very interesting African
Very
culture.
interesting. I mean, within that we saw that a lot of the people from that side of Africa came out. Right, and that's what we're trying to create, a platform where it's not about West Africa or East Africa or Southern Africa or Northern Africa. Africa is one big family. We want to have a representation of everybody to come in. We also had one of our favorites from Botswana. They go by Black Trash Clothing.
Okay.
It's a very interesting name.
Wow.
They have very unique pieces. So they also came in. We actually work with them. We work with their government agency.
Okay.
So their government agency, what they do is they put together a fashion platform, like a competition, and then the winners come to Toronto to showcase their stuff here, right? So and that's what we're trying to create. We want individual countries to get involved. We want Ghana to bring a certain number of designers from the continent, from the country, to represent Ghana.
That's good.
Eventually, we want to have that kind of platform where it's being represented by countries. All the African countries are here.
But what I find very interesting is that, you know, it's not just the African Fashion Week per se, just that it becomes an annual program and then you leave it to chance and that is it. And that you've also been able to put together the Fashion Ready Foundation, which actually trains, right, upcoming fashion designers, students and all that. And I saw that on your website and I think that's a great initiative. What is your motivation? What is, you know, the whole idea behind that initiative that you've created?
We thought that in order to create successful designers, there has to be an educational or a support system in place for them to get to that level. And that's what this Fashion Ready Foundation came about. Fashion Ready Foundation is it's a non-for-profit organization. And what we do within that is create platforms. Like we have our annual student designer competition, which is a part of the African Fashion Week. And that platform is specifically for students who are in the fashion schools and that kind of stuff. We give them the platform to showcase their success or the level they've gotten to within their school programming and that kind of stuff. And that's an awesome platform because within that, from the time we started doing this African Fashion Week, we've seen that there are certain students who came to showcase who are now doing big things.
That's good.
Because of the platform that we had for them. We didn't even realize the kind of impact it was going to make, but it's really making an impact. And one of our major things that we're trying to also have established is some kind of a scholarship program. And the scholarship program is specifically for students who have difficulties in, in acquiring resources, in acquiring, even being able to just pay for school, to get better education in the fashion industry.
You came to Canada at a very tender age, like 5, 6 thereabout, but sitting here and being here in North America, are there any great African fashion designers out there on the continent of Africa that you look up to?
Let me talk about even here first, in Toronto. There are certain African designers here who are amazing. Like, I'll mention a few names. We have Kayla K. Kayla K is, I think she's 3 years in the industry.
In the industry.
But if you see her work, you think she's been around for 20 years.
Wow.
Right? She does amazing work. She studied the industry properly. She follows the proper protocols to make things happen. And that's what I like mostly about her. We have another designer called Zena K, who won our first student designer competition. Awesome designer as well. From the time she came in as a student designer till now, she's doing amazing stuff.
Listen, go to the days when you tell your parents that, listen, Daddy, I want to be a fashion designer in
oh,
future.
Yeah, oh, guys. Oh,
guys. For what? What are you going to get out of it? Did you get that pressure? Did you get that pressure when you decided that's, listen, Dad, this mom, this is exactly what I want to do? Did that come?
For me, I guess I say I was fortunate. I had a family that kind of was very supportive.
And understood what you wanted to do.
Exactly. My family's traditions are like this. Whatever you want to do, get the proper training. Get educated for it. Don't just do it because you think that you have the passion or you can do it or you like it. Or
there's money in it.
Or there's money in it, right? If you go into anything because of money, you'll quickly fail. Because as soon as you get that setbacks, all of a sudden your mind starts telling you, oh, this is not what I thought it was going to be. It's not going to be an easy ride. Nothing is an easy ride, right? So it starts with passion and then talent. You can't have one or the other. You got to have them both. If you got passion, you got the talent together, you'll go somewhere. Yes, you're going to make mistakes. Yes, you're going to fall. Yes, you're going to doubt yourself sometimes, right? But you got to keep going. Even with this African Fashion Week platform, when we started off, it's not an easy ride, right? Because this is very expensive programming. We gotta acquire sponsors and even just to acquire people's interest in the city. Because Toronto, when it comes to African fashion industry, is fairly new compared to like London.
Yeah.
London's got that industry.
They've got it
for a long time.
Yeah.
This is fairly new here. So even to get our designers interested to think that this platform is going to help them, that's one challenge.
That's good.
To get the audience is to think that African fashion is not just a material hanging on your neck.
That's another thing.
That's another challenge, right? To get investors or sponsors to think that it's worth it. It's worth investing in the
That is something you definitely have to defend.
Exactly.
And convince them.
Exactly.
Why they should spend their dollar on that.
Exactly. So we're defending different channels.
In August this year, it's what we're all expecting, right? The Toronto African Fashion Week.
Yes.
What should we be expecting, really?
It's just, excitement. It doesn't get any better than coming to a fashion show or series of fashion shows and seeing vibrant colors on the, usually you go to these fashion weeks out there, everybody's wearing black, all the designers are black, For African Fashion Week Toronto, it's very vibrant. It's a fun place to be at, very exciting. We are going to showcase some of the best African designers on the continent and in the diaspora, in the UK and that kind of stuff, even from the Caribbean. Designers come from the Caribbean, designers come from the Indian, the Asian continent to showcase. So we have a little bit of something for everybody. We have a programming called the Student Designer Competition, which showcase some of the student, upcoming talents and that kind of stuff. So people who are really interested in seeing future talents, that's a show that you must attend.
Okay.
We have a fashion seminar that's focused on fashion marketing, because marketing is everything.
So you're going to have key speakers to talk to these students about what the path they have to take and all that.
Exactly, and it's not only for students, it's for the general population. Anyone that's within the fashion industry that wants to learn about the marketing aspect of the fashion business, you come to that. It's a free platform.
How many days are we talking here in August?
It's 4 days.
It's a 4-day program.
It starts August 13th and ends on August 16th. So the last day, what we do, which is August 16th, is we have the African Fashion Industry Awards, which is EFIA in short. Right, it's called
EFIA?
Yes.
That's a Ghanaian local name.
Exactly.
EFIA.
Exactly. So yes, the African Fashion Industry Awards, and that's a platform where we recognize and honor certain people who are making an impact within the African fashion industry back home and here. We felt that was a platform that was really needed. We'd never had that here. What
is the difference, or what would you say is the unique niche that you have been able to create for yourself? Of course, like you said, there's so many, African fashion weeks all over the world. There's one in London, there's the New York one, and the one in Toronto now. But what is it that makes the African Fashion Week in Toronto very different from what we know on all these other cities that we know?
what's different about it is the diversity of the events. Most of these fashion weeks...
And the diversity of the city itself.
Exactly. Most of these fashion weeks out there, they just, from what I see anyways, it's mostly about designers walking the runway for 5-10 minutes and, you know, and they're done. We kind of add more elements to it. We show the student side of things. Even with the student side of things, it's not about fashion. We have this year is going to be the first time we're actually introducing the hair design competition and makeup competition, because those are all elements of fashion. So we have that platform, we have the hair platform, then we have the fashion platform, all part of the student designer competition, which other fashion weeks out there don't do, right? Like I said, we have the seminar, which educates people, and this is a free platform. A lot of these other programming don't do that. And then obviously, like I said, we ended with the awards, right? You know, we got to celebrate ourselves.
Interesting, because you also had the Nigerian actor Jim Ike come visit earlier this year in Toronto. And my understanding is that he's got a clothing line and he's also going to be taking part in this year's Fashion Week. I
understand he has a fashion line out and he has some interest of coming down. He's coming down in August. Based on what he said, so we'll see how that works out. But even beyond that, we have fashion designers like Adebayo Jones, who is the godfather of couture. Everybody knows that. Coming from the UK, this is going to be his second appearance in Toronto.
Okay.
So he's coming to showcase. We're very excited to welcome him back again. Obviously, you know, Black Trash Clothing from Botswana, who actually won the International Fashion Designers in 2014 award, is coming back. And what they do that's awesome with those guys is they bring younger designers with them. So they don't just show up, they bring the whole industry from Botswana with them. From models to...
That'll be a very interesting culture.
Exactly.
Knowing that you're from West Africa and seeing all these parts of Africa coming in.
And I'm thinking this year is going to be a lot of Southern African, because already we have about 7 South African designers who are interested, who have already registered, interested to be on this platform. We have obviously our local ones who are growing fast.
In your eyes, what does the future of African fashion look like? In wrapping up,
African fashion is, to me, is going to propel the fashion industry, because if you look at it now, almost every designer in the world is getting into the print. And we all know print, Africa is all about the print. The print material is what we use to do everything. And all of a sudden you're seeing all these bigger fashion companies are incorporating the print into their fashion brands. So what I say to most African designers, and even those on the continent, that this is the time now to build our businesses the proper way, so we can have a stand when this boom goes up, because it's going up. African designers, African fashion industry is on a rise. And what, as a designer, what are you doing to get your shares? Because if you don't put your foot down and, you know, work your business out properly, somebody else is going to eat off your strengths. So
you see the African fashion in future competing with the lines like CK and all that?
Big time. And even to get to that level, I always encourage our people to support, right? Because it takes, the designers got to put out good products, and then the audience got to support. Once we do that together, there's no competition. We're going to get up there.
When next are you visiting Ghana?
I'm trying to come there in December.
Pretty soon?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'm excited about it.
Isaac Ansah, thanks for joining me on my show.
You're welcome. Welcome to Toronto again, and anytime, I'm always available. And hey, one thing I gotta say, in August, you gotta make sure, we need to see Jefferson, production, TV, and everything there. You guys gotta be there.
We'll make it here.
All right,
thank you.
All right.